to the Cine Geeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide. My name is Roy, joined by my lovely co-host Angela.
Heyo!
Hi Angela. And today we will be talking about a movie that I have been so excited to see for a very long time, but we'll get to that in a bit. Okay? So first off, a bit of housekeeping.
Yeah.
We would just like to thank everyone who has helped us become the #1 film reviews podcast in the Philippines.
Woo!
On Apple Podcasts, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. We are so thankful that you've chosen to spend your time, quote unquote, hanging out with us as we talk about the films and TV shows that we love.
Or don't love.
Yes, or don't love, of course.
Or don't love.
As well as some of the major geek stuff that makes our geek world go round.
Yeah. Big thank you goes out as well to all the many listeners that have engaged with us on social media.
Yes.
By commenting and liking our Facebook page posts. So thank you for that. We see you.
Yes, we love the response, the comments, the reactions to our posts. We thank you for engaging with us, our fellow Cine Geeks. And for those who have not yet been able to join the conversation, you can simply search for the Cine Geeks podcast on Facebook. Like and follow our page. Also, we are on Threads. And we also have an Instagram profile as well.
Yep.
Also, for this episode, we have a fun contest planned for all of our Cine Geeks out there. So please stay tuned until the end of this episode. Okay?
Yeah, that is a thank you, if you will, for our milestone.
Yes, that's
being
right.
the top podcast in the Philippines.
For film reviews.
Yes, that's right.
Before we again go to the movie of the week, next thing on our lineup today, we want to do something different.
Yep.
Go with a bit of geek news.
Geek
Yan,
news,
meron
yeah.
tayong konting mga geek stuff na nangyari.
Updates.
Over the past week. Yes, updates tayo. First off, we went to
Toycon PH 2023.
2023, yes.
Yes.
We went there last Friday, July 7.
On the first day.
On the first day,
Yeah.
yes. So it was a 3-day event. And there were a lot of guests, a lot of interesting exhibits.
Yes.
Angela, please, why don't you go ahead and take us through the awesome event that we went to?
Well, we went on the first day, as I said earlier. We went with my niece, Kyla. So shout out to her. She was supposed to join us today, pero, school stuff.
Yes, that's right.
But of course, we'll have her next time. Anyways, the lines were pretty sparse naman. Since we purchased our tickets online, hindi na tayo pumila. We were able to enter the venue immediately.
Yes.
So that was very hassle-free. We arrived in the middle of a performance of this J-pop group.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
We weren't able to get the name, pero
They were awesome.
they were awesome. Yeah.
And, lots of cosplayers too around.
Yes.
They're everywhere. The exhibitors and the attendees as well. Actually, we arrived there. It was raining.
Yeah. Oo, mga ganun. Parang
Pa-start na.
start pa lang umulan. Tama.
Oo, pero ang dami ng tao nung dumating
Yes,
tayo.
Super.
Pero, nakakatuwa kasi, although maraming tao, and there are a lot of snack stalls outside the venue. Hindi siya crowded, hindi siya masikip. There was enough space to move around and to walk around.
Yes.
And there was also this open space na ang dami nakaupo.
Yeah.
It's like a picnic over there.
Yes.
'Di ba? Nakakatuwa. You see them resting there. Siguro morning pa sila nandun. So, yeah, ayun. Some of the stuff we scored pala. We bought some movie posters.
Yes.
And official apparel, mga t-shirts. Yeah. And yung pinaka natutuwa talaga ako kasi when I entered the venue, nakita ko kaagad yung mga clip ng Sprouts.
Yes.
And yung Ducky. Sabi ko, hala, ang cute naman nun. Very, very subtle cosplay. So I looked for that stall kaagad. I bought some bean sprout clips pero hindi ako nakabili ng Duckies kasi ang bilis niya naubos. Ayun, highlight of our day. Actually, ito talaga yung sinadya ko. I wanted to meet Paul Medina Jr. of Pugad Baboy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I was literally gushing as in talagang ang wide ng ngiti ko. Parang kiling-kiling nakita ng artista. Kasi high school pa ako nag-iipon ng Pugad Baboy. So,
yes.
shout out to him. I bought everything in front of me. Sabi niya sa akin, hala, nabudol ko si ma'am.
Oo nga.
Tawa kami ng tawa. And then he was nice enough to oblige for Groovy with us. Tapos katabi niya din si Tarantadong Kalbo. And I also bought his first book.
Yes.
And he also signed, they were all signed by the way. So, yun lang pinakagusto ko sa mga gantong events. You get to meet them.
Actually, just to add, yung sinabi mo na kay Pugad Baboy, ako din, I've been collecting them since I was very young. So, mga high school lang din, same as you. And natutuwa ako kasi meron akong specific issue ng Pugad Baboy na gustong-gusto ko nun. Actually, hindi mas gusto. Yung second na pinakagusto ko, which is yung 10th issue niya, PBX. Yan. Nawala na yung unang copy ko before, pero yun nga, nakakuha tayo ulit ng bago.
Yeah.
Tapos, napapirmahan din natin. Signed. Yep. So, yes, that was it. Thank you for the wonderful story about our Toy-Con journey.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if I'm not mistaken, there is going to be a Northern Luzon edition of Toy-Con this coming August. You can just go ahead and visit their Facebook page. It's the first thing that will appear pag sinearch nyo yung Toy-Con on Facebook.
So, go check that
Yes,
out.
go check it out.
Northerners.
Yes. So, moving on to the next geek news. And this actually also goes back to another episode we did, the emergency podcast about Barbie and its controversy with the quote-unquote 9 dash line. Well, right now, sige, I'll let you do the honors. Go ahead. Sige.
I was very excited to hear this news talaga. And I'm very proud of MTRCB for being so objective.
Yes. And before we continue, just in case hindi nyo pa na Barbie has been allowed for release here in the Philippines. So it's going to release on July 19.
Yay!
Yes. And so, Jel, why don't you go ahead and read the exact MTRCB ruling regarding Barbie? Go ahead.
Okay. I'm just gonna pick the relevant sections
Sure.
here.
Go ahead.
Considering the context by which the cartoonish map of the character Weird Barbie was portrayed in the film, the review committee is convinced that the contentious scene does not depict the 9 dash line. Instead, the map portrayed the route of the make-believe journey of Barbie from Barbie Land to the real world as an integral part of the story. Rest assured that the board has exhausted all possible resources in arriving at this decision, as we have not hesitated in the past to sanction filmmakers, producers, distributors for exhibiting the fictitious quote-unquote 9 dash line in their materials.
Yes. So, MTRCB with a slightly spoilery ruling pa nga.
Hindi nila chinek yun.
Talagang, I mean, sure. Well, at least, di ba, alam natin na
okay,
hindi
Weird
siya,
Barbie.
Biglang, wow, may Weird Barbie pala. Thanks for the spoilers, MTRCB. Pero, I commend them for not bowing down to international peer pressure. Just because one country made a hula-baloo about this na totally non-existent naman. Actually, kakatingin ko lang dun sa Facebook page ng MTRCB kanina. Meron na namang old man yelling at clouds. Nagsasabi na kakarmahin daw yung lahat ng pamilya ng board ng MTRCB kasi pinayagan daw yung Barbie na mag-show. So, ako kinomen ko sa kanya, ito ba yung map na sinasabi mong Flow China? Parang, it makes no sense. It's a kids movie. And thanks to the spoilery statement, it's made by a weird Barbie. So, in short,
she's supposed to be unhinged.
It's supposed to look crazy. And
there was no 9 dash line.
Yeah nga, exactly. There
in
was
its most literal sense.
May 8 dashes, may 10 dashes. So parang feeling ko pa nga, pinagtatawanan pa niya yung 9 dash line quote-unquote.
And yun nga I'm happy na MTRCB was really discerning about it because they said here, and another spoiler, the map portrayed the route of the make-believe journey of Barbie from Barbie Land to the real world. So thanks for that spoiler again.
Yes, nice. MTRCB, spoiler din. Okay. Pero yun, so to all my fellow Barbenheimer bros, tuloy ang party natin next week, July 19.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go party.
So on that note, on the opening of both Barbie and Oppenheimer, the Christopher Nolan epic about the man who created the atomic bomb. Ever since nung in-announce siya na sabay siyang lalabas, talagang for some reason, the idea of it being a double feature has taken a life of its own. And so much so that
still a running joke.
Well, yun na nga. Hindi mo na nga alam kung kailan nagsisimula yung joke and kailan natatapos yung joke and it becomes sincere. Na talagang you have to appreciate it together. Baka malay mo, I mean, ito, after this, so I guess it's not a spoiler naman to say na the next episode of the Cine Geeks podcast will be
a double feature
as well
yeah.
of Barbie and Oppenheimer. So that may be a very supersized episode.
Yes.
Okay, so watch out for that.
Yeah.
Pero over in the United States, there is a report coming from the Hollywood Reporter stating that AMC, a huge theater chain in the States, reports 20,000 double feature purchases for Barbie and Oppenheimer. So meron silang parang SMAC, SM Advantage, parang loyalty program sa AMC that allows their customers to get free movies or discounted movies.
Baka naman SM.
No comment.
Hindi, kasi sorry, pero
Sige, go.
yung double feature kasi is unheard of
Well,
in the Philippines.
Here in the Philippines, yes. Pero siguro yung mga mas nakakatanda sa atin, yung mga talagang lola natin, aware sila dun na yung double feature na merong isang sine tapos pagkatapos nun rekta agad na merong kasunod. Siyempre kasi nung panahon na yon, pag sinabi mong pupunta ka ng sine,
sinihan lang talaga siya.
Oo, at saka it's a day out. It's a movie day out talaga. So, as much as possible, you want to maximize the time you spend outside enjoying the movies. So, kaya nauso yung mga double feature. Pero yun nga, bumalik lang siya in vogue ulit dahil nga, for some reason,
and a very unlikely coupling pa.
Exactly. Na talagang Barbie, Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
What do they have in common? Nothing. And yet, it's the most compelling double feature in the past, 10 years?
Well, I haven't heard of a double feature even beyond 10 years ago.
Yung parang pagsasabayin mo, pwede naman siguro yung mga parang thematic. Halimbawa, yung parang Avatar, tsaka Fern Gully, parang ganon. Na double feature siya kasi it's
connected.
Aside from it being almost about the same thing, it's almost the same movie. Avatar and Fern Gully.
Pero wouldn't you be too tired of that if it's the same thing?
Well, kung ikaw naman, naka-mindset ka naman na you're going to have a double feature, I don't think it's gonna be an issue of whether kung pagod ka ba or not. Pero just this news na, people are really excited. Not just for one or the other, but both.
Yeah.
And they want to see it together at the same time. So
interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Yes, very, very interesting.
And I hope this starts a trend of double features.
Yes, and it's gonna be a good thing for cinemas, for movies in general. We support more filmmakers. Hopefully, they make more interesting fare na pwedeng talagang pagsabay.
Yeah.
So, that's it with our geek news. Okay, if you have anything that you want us to, discuss news-wise, you just go ahead and comment on our Facebook posts.
Yeah.
Again, that's the CineGeeks podcast on Facebook. So, finally, we get to talk about the movie of the week. Yes.
Yeah.
We've been so excited about this ever since Mission Impossible Fallout came out. This is the rare franchise. The Mission Impossible franchise. It's the rare franchise that gets better with every entry that comes out.
Yes.
No?
I agree.
Na ever since nagkaroon tayo ng rock bottom, which is Mission Impossible 2, na course correct siya ng konti nung 3, tas yung simula 4, 5 hanggang 6 talagang
ramp up siya.
Talagang todo ramp up. And we get to, finally, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Why don't you try to tell us about this in 2 sentences? What this movie is about? Kaya ba?
Okay. Thanks for that question.
Yes, you're welcome. Go. Yeah.
2 sentences. Ooh. It was bitten.
Yes. So, papalitan natin yung nakalagay sa Wikipedia. Ano yung plot niya? It was bitten. Yan. Sobrang, actually, and I actually agree with you na it's the most appropriate way to talk about it without going into detail. Sobrang niyang bitin.
Yes.
Exciting, pero
but bitin. Yeah.
Yes. So, ako actually yung mas nag-introduce sa'yo itong series na to.
Yes.
Parang bininge natin yung 1 to 4 bago natin pinanood yung 5.
Way back.
No. And ever since, yun na nga, sinundan na natin siya. Siguro, off the top of your head, what did you think about this?
You mean my second sentence?
Pwede. Sure. Go ahead.
Tom Cruise ex machina.
Grabe, no? Talagang sheer force of will.
Grabe.
Pwede mong iharap si Tom Cruise kahit ano, sa kahit sa ano na bagay. And
just when you think that trailer shows every crazy thing he does in this movie, wala pa yun.
Grabe, talagang ang pinaka natatawa ko doon is kitang-kita mo na talagang todo bigay siya eh. Talagang give it his all siya when it comes to making movies. And so much so na parang meron nata siyang cheat code for infinite stamina.
Oo, no?
Grabe na parang hindi siya napapagod. Takbo siya ng takbo.
Ako yung napapagod eh.
Oo. Parang pagkatapos nung may bawat scene na may hinahabol siya or meron siyang
the signature Tom Cruise run.
Oo, yun. Lalo na yun.
Yeah.
That moment. Parang pagkatapos niyan tumakbo, parang ikaw yung hingal na hingal eh.
True.
Na parang, wait, kalma. Pero pagkatapos ng takbo niya, 2 seconds later, takbo na naman ulit.
Grabe
Actually, hindi nga
talaga.
ako mistaken. Parang hindi ata tumigil yung takbo nun eh. Pagkatapos nung dun sa yung moment na yun, yung sinasabi natin.
The real question is, alin dun?
True. Any of the many Tom Cruise run. Dapat meron nga tayong gumawa ng video charting the distance
Yes.
of how far he runs
Per movie. Yeah.
No?
And the totality of all the Mission Impossible movies, total distance ran.
Sa palagay mo, nakatakbo na siya ng isang marathon dun. 42 kilometers na? Tama.
Oo.
Sa palagay
Wala
mo,
pa yun.
Hindi ba?
Oo.
Baka dun sa part 2, tatapusin na niya yung butal.
If you'll take into consideration yung mismong geographical factor. Kung hindi yung minutes lang na tumatakbo siya dun sa movie, pero yung point A to point B na distance talaga, in real meters.
Tama.
Ayoko na. Iniisip ko palang napapagod na ako.
Grabe, talagang bawat Mission Impossible movie, cardio talaga. Ako naman, I thought it was still like with any other Mission Impossible movie. Talagang sobrang niyang exhilarating. It's an absolute thrill ride. Ito, siguro, alam mo yung nung sinabi ni Martin Scorsese na Marvel movies are like theme park rides. And I think he tried to say that with the best of intentions. Hindi naman niya siguro ginawang parang derogatory statement yun.
Yeah. It was a big issue.
Yeah, it did. It did become a big issue. Pero if you use that analogy here, it actually feels like a theme park ride in the best way possible. Nakakatawa nga sa kanya, para siyang, I don't know if you remember this. Para dun sa mga nakapunta ng Enchanted Kingdom in the late 90s, early 2000s, yung original na incarnation nung Rialto, yung motion simulator ride nila. Kasi alam ko ngayon para siyang 4D simulator na siya eh. So wala na akong alam dun. Tagal na tayo hindi nakapunta. Noon, ang pinaka natatandaan ko nun, kasi lagi akong pabalik-balik ako dun sa ride na yan. Merong pre-show na bago ka pumasok dun sa theater mismo, may mga TV na nasa kisame. So, may pinapanood kang parang pang hype up sa'yo.
Parang previews.
Parang preview. Not necessarily preview, pero parang siyang...
Trailers.
Hindi din trailer. Parang part siya nung palabas eh. Part siya nung palabas. Pero parang siyang prologue ba? Parang prologue siya nung ride. Na walang exciting thing na nangyayari. Parang ina-exposition dump ka lang. Siyempre, wala pang galaw-galaw na nangyayari kasi nakapila ka eh. Yung ganon. Pero pagpasok mo nung ride, katuktong nung kwento nung ride, yung pinapanood mo sa labas.
Wow.
Yon. So, pagdating mo sa loob, yun na, yung the full 5-minute ride. Yon.
5 minutes lang siya?
Pero grabe ng bata ako, parang ang tagal-tagal niya, parang ang sarap niya ulit-ulitin nun.
Ako naalala ko lang ang tagal ko sa pila.
Yun kasi yung pinaka-in-demand na ride noon bago dumating yung Rio Grande Rapids. Yung Rialto, grabe yun. Talagang pipila ka 1 oras para lang sa 5 minutes.
5 minutes, no?
Grabe. Pero yung ganong structure niya, I felt that in this movie. Kasi for about the first, let's say 30 minutes or so, 30 to 40 minutes of the movie, wala masyadong action na nangyari. Puro siya setup.
Yes.
Puro siya yung tipong teasing you about the blow up that's about to happen.
And introducing the new set pieces.
True. That's very
the
true.
The new characters as well.
Yeah, we'll get to them in later on in spoilers. Pero yun, ganun yung sa kanya, parang ang tagal niya na hindi nagkakaroon ng non-stop action.
Yes.
Pero kapag dumating na yung action, wala na siyang tigil. As in talagang tuloy-tuloy siya. So, kung yung first 40 minutes was
anticipation,
the last
up,
2 hours. Yes, the last 2 hours is just pure action. Tuloy-tuloy. Siguro may mga 5 minutes na break. Pero pagkatapos ng 5 minutes na yon, okay, next. Boom. Next set piece. Go. Boom. Yun. Hanggang dun sa last set piece na parang umabot ata ng 1 oras.
Grabe.
Yung last act niya.
Oo.
No? Tama. Yan. Pero, ikaw, what did you think about that kind of yung parang way that it withheld the action for the first part?
Ako, since we're dealing with new characters this time, and an entirely new story that is not connected to the previous ones,
Okay.
yeah, it is actually necessary for them to do the exposition dump first before we go to the action set pieces. Kasi, ayun nga we are dealing with a new villain here without going into spoilers. Pero, ayun, all the things that this new villain threatens has to be set up, has to be established.
True. That's true.
Especially the allies of this new villain. So, ayun, it was necessary.
Yes. And actually, if I may just, get it out of the way, I really didn't think that it was as good as Fallout. Kasi si Fallout pa rin talaga yung talagang high bar itong franchise na to. Talagang yung Fallout from start to finish was perfection. Talagang I can watch that movie over and over again and not get bored of it. Pero
let me ask you this.
Sige.
Do you think that you only feel that way because it's just the part 1 of a 2-parter?
Yun na nga Yun na nga yung thing nung dilemma ko Kasi I am going to say na I liked the movie. Okay? Very important distinction. I unfortunately didn't love it. I just liked it a lot. Okay? Recent trend din kasi yan na ang daming mga finale na pinapahaba na ginagawa nilang part 1, part 2.
Yeah.
Of course, to make more money. It's a business decision. Pero there are instances where it works. There are instances where it doesn't. Kasi kung masasacrifice mo yung completeness ng bawat isang scene, then as much as you love the IP that you're seeing,
and you do love it, by the way.
Yes, I have the entire series on Blu-ray as well.
Yes.
So I love it. I can say na I love it. Pero yun na nga Siguro we'll go back a year later when part 2 comes out.
Only then
can we really parang fully
appreciate.
Not really appreciate, fully dissect the movie for its complete merits. Kasi eto, yes, it was exhilarating. But unfortunately, it felt hollow. It felt hollow in the sense na kung gaano kakompleto yung pakiramdam mo pag pinapanood mo yung Fallout, kahit nga yung Rogue Nation And I felt that Rogue Nation was parang just fine. It wasn't love, pero it was very, very good.
Yes.
Pero even that, nawala yung pakiramdam na you watched a complete movie. Also, there was, in spite of the constant excitement that yung we felt, ako personally, parang nararamdaman ko na gusto na nilang matapos to.
There was that parang sense of exhaustion no?
Yes. Hindi ko alam kung exhaustion ba siya or parang siguro ganun lang talaga sila sinabihan ni writer-director Christopher McQuarrie na i-play yung characters nila na parang make it feel like this is the end.
Or there was a sense of detachment maybe?
I wouldn't say detachment kasi you try being detached in a Tom Cruise movie. Sisigawan ka niya. Pero yung...
Well, Tom Cruise.
Of course. Pero yung, ibig sabihin ko, hindi ko naman masabing detachment kasi game naman lahat Walang problema
Yes.
Pero yung tipong, hindi ko alam kung artistic choice ba siya or talagang they had this somberness to everything. Even
it really
kahit
was, no?
Diba? Na parang siyang, ayoko naman sabihin na parang kang nanonood ng lamay. Hindi naman ganun Hindi naman ganun ka far down. Pero more lang na parang...
It was already saying goodbye.
Oo.
Kahit part 1 pa lang.
Kahit part 1 pa lang siya.
Diba? I also felt that.
Yan. Yung kung gaano siya... Kung gaano ka jumpy and bouncy. I'm sorry if these are the adjectives I'm using but it's the best I can pull out right now. Kung gaano ka jumpy and bouncy and fun. Yung pakiramdam ng Ghost Protocol. Dito naman parang sobra niyang sad. Na parang they're preparing you for a goodbye. Do you think they're gonna go there na...
Actually, dahil sa sinabi mo, may naisip ako bigla, may naalala ako.
Sige, go.
Para siyang Old Man Logan.
Okay. So parang yung Logan na yung yung comic book. Okay, yeah.
Parang dour and down with life and so I'm too old for this shit na kind of feeling nung protagonist. Parang gano'n na parang he's ready to hang up his cape.
True.
So to speak.
Pero I don't want to speak naman na ganun yung ni Tom Cruise kasi talagang game na game pa rin siya
You don't feel it from him.
I don't feel it from him. Pero siguro I would point to that in the meta sense. So for our listeners na are not familiar with that concept, when you say that something's meta, it's outside of the piece of art that you're talking about. Meta being parang looking at the outside in. Parang ganon.
Yes. Not Zuckerberg's
not
meta.
that meta. Pero ito, kung ikukumpara mo yung chase scene in the movie. Wait, so do you want to go into spoilers?
Are we ready for spoilers? Okay.
I think we can't really go into detail about how we felt about this movie without going into spoilers.
Okay, so spoiler alert.
So if you haven't seen it yet, you can stop now. Pero we can give our recommendation to you. Ikaw, would you recommend this?
Yes, you still have to see it because this is part 1.
True. Of course. Hindi naman siya yung parang...
This is not a finished story.
True. Exactly.
So you have to see it in order for you to judge it.
Exactly. Very, very true. Yes, I would also recommend this wholeheartedly. Even if I'm sounding na parang a negative ko. Siguro, my negativity stems from how incomplete the story feels. But again, that's the burden of anything that calls itself part 1.
Pero why do you think it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes though? If ganon, unfinished nung kwento.
Yan ang pag-uusapan natin in spoilers. So, we're gonna go into spoiler territory. If you haven't seen it yet, pause this podcast, go watch it,
and come back.
And then come back. And then if you agree with us, join the conversation on our Facebook page. And if you don't agree with us, go ahead. Be a conversation starter as well. We want to hear from you.
We encourage that.
Yes. So you were going to say about yung part 1, part 2 thing?
Yes. Kasi you can't help but compare it to the very recent and the very prominent comparison, which is Infinity War and Endgame.
Yes.
Na 2-parter ending of a saga.
Yes.
That's what sticks out to me. Parang how did I feel about Infinity War? Because it was the part 1. Parang mas may stakes siya.
True.
Yun lang yung difference. Kasi yung Infinity War kasi, it ended without you knowing what's gonna happen next. Kasi sobrang shook ka to the core. Pero this movie, part 1, it ended na parang an ending of an episode.
That's accurate. Tama.
Na hindi to be continued yung ending. Parang ganon. Para siyang natapos. And then, okay, parang, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? Hindi siya parang yung Across the Spider-Verse na nung natapos yun. Diba? That's also a 2-parter, diba? Parang mas ina-anticipate mo and excited ka and mind-blown ka dun sa ending.
True.
I did not feel that in this movie.
Oo, kasi yung sinabi mo yung sa Infinity War, while I was also watching it, the biggest thing I can point to in Infinity War na pagiging kahit part 1 siya of the ending of the MCU, yung first saga, was the film itself felt like a complete movie. And ang nakaka-amaze nga sa kanya was yung kung ano yung naging plan ni Thanos nun, nagawa niya in the movie. So, it used our heroes losing as a cliffhanger.
Yes.
An excellent cliffhanger, making us want to know what happens next. Diba na, ito, isipin mo to sa movie na to. So, pasadahan na natin ng konti lang. The movie deals with an AI. They call it the Entity. Now, the Entity is wreaking havoc sa mga computer systems and the internet worldwide. And it just so happens that there is a fail-safe key that can shut down the AI. Now, there is a sequence that happens at the start. Long story short, nahiwala yung AI doon sa mga key. Now, the entire movie is Ethan and company and the bad guys and good bad guys and the bad good guys are all chasing after the key.
Yes.
The keys, actually. Keys.
Cruciform. Sorry.
Cruciform key. Yan. Ngayon, if we were going to use the Infinity War template, hindi ba dapat mas satisfying siya narratively? Hindi yung parang feel-good dopamine satisfying nga. Hindi ba mas satisfying siya na dapat nakuha nung kalaban yung key at the end? Kasi dapat yun yung magiging next mission ni Ethan.
Yes.
Find the bad guy. Because with the bad guy having the key, oh no, the world is going to end.
Walang doom walang dread.
Tama.
Dun sa ending because Hunt got the key in the end.
Oh, yun,
so parang it ended with a win for our heroes. So what's the stakes here?
Unless
he already has the key. He can destroy it.
Exactly.
It's the end.
Exactly. Unless part 2 is going to end with him dying. So yun yung parang good dito, tas yung next day parang yun yung bad, kuno.
Pero hindi ba mas satisfying na he will die retrieving that key because he did not get the key this time?
True.
Parang any kind of 2-parter or any kind of cliffhanger, dapat it cuts kapag talo yung bida para abangan mo yung susunod paano siya babawi.
Tama. Oo.
Diba?
Oh, exactly.
Does that make sense?
It does. Perfect sense.
I mean, I guess he jumped off a cliff, pero it did not end with a cliffhanger. Ang corny. Ang corny. Sorry na.
Okay lang. Well, I get exactly what you mean. Oo, kasi, I mean, hindi ko alam kung dahil ba sa Filipino DNA natin na nakatatak na yung mga sine ni Fernando po na tipong yung matatalo yung bida sa simula pero the rest back siya sa dulo. Hindi ba, parang hero's journey? Hindi ba universal yung ganong klaseng kwento? I mean, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. There's an entire movie where everybody loses.
You need that.
Exactly.
Para mas sweet yung victory in the end.
True. Pero I guess yun na nga ata yung pakay nila dito sa Mission Impossible na it's just purely entertainment. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Why make it a two-parter if
Yun
it's all
lang
about the entertainment then?
Yun nga lang Yun nga yung parang disappointing sa kanya Kasi ang taas na nung bar na sinet niya for itself.
After Fallout.
Fallout. Yung mga bagong characters, yun nga, we haven't even touched upon them.
Yes.
They are interesting, yes, but sadly, they feel two-dimensional. Like yung bagong character, si Grace.
Hayley Atwell.
When you compare her to the other Mission Impossible women that have arrived since part 3, parang ang hollow niya as a character. Kumpara sa iba. Kasi ito, yung sa Mission Impossible 3, si Julia, yung ex-wife ni Ethan,
Michelle Monaghan.
She represented a calming and stable presence in his life na sobrang chaotic, puro death, puro misery.
The sense of normalcy.
Yes. Tapos, yung sa susunod, yung sa Ghost Protocol, si Jane, although hindi niya romantic interest yun, pero may kwento si Jane na sarili.
Who's Jane again?
Si Paula Patton.
Okay.
Yan, na yung meron siyang mission na sarili which is to take revenge for the death of her boyfriend. Yung si Josh Holloway.
Yes.
Na pinatay ni Lea Seydoux. Yan. So, may may motivations siya.
Yes.
Na concrete. And then, of course, the queen, Ilsa Faust. Na talagang...
Siya ang Vesper ni
Exactly. Na, yung sabi ko nga dito siya yung equal ni Ethan who matches him action for action, thought for thought. As in talagang equal. Perfect match silang dalawa. Sobra. Pero ngayong ikukumpara mo si Grace sa kanya, I mean, sige, bibigyan na ng lip service na backstory. Unless merong twist yan sa part 2 na, ay, kapatid bala ni Ilsa siya or what? I don't know. Doesn't make sense. So,
teleserye?
Yun na nga Pero parang ang kanyang introduction is she's an orphan.
She's a thief.
A thief na orphan. Parang
grifter.
God, napaka-cliche naman.
Is this an episode of Leverage?
Ano yan? Oliver Twist. Parang lahat na lang ng orphan magnanakaw.
Ooh, twist!
Parang ganun. Tapos, yung kalaban pa, yung si Gabriel.
Which is also a biblical undertone.
Sige, we'll get to that. Yung observation mo na yun because I'm very interested to hear about that later on.
Okay.
Pero just pasadahan ko lang ng konti yung on the subject of two-dimensionality ng mga bagong characters.
Yeah.
Para siyang in-introduce siya as this new old villain. If that makes some sense, na he is a very important figure from Ethan's past na unresolved niya. Pero parang bakit?
Even that brings out a lot of questions.
Bakit ngayon lang natin siya ulit nakita?
Oo.
Di ba? Ako, sa akin, mas gugustuhin ko pa na yung, alam mo yung sa Mission Impossible 1, di ba? Yung sobrang star-studded nung team niya.
Yeah.
Yung
John Voight.
Si John Voight yung leader nila. Pero andun yung si Emilio Estevez, na siya yung parang Benji nila doon. Tapos within the first 5 minutes, biglang patay na pala siya. Siya yung nabagsakan ng elevator. Yan. Magme-make sense siya sa akin kung ma-reveal pala na etong si Gabriel, si Emilio Estevez doon. Kasi at least yun, merong through line doon sa
full
buong
circle, no?
Full circle siya na parang may sense of betrayal siyang naramdaman. Kasi hindi pa pala siya namatay doon. Kasi hindi natin binalikan
Oo nga.
Na may sense
parang loose end, no?
Loose end siya na parang kung siya pala yun, hindi siya namatay, pinabayaan siya ni Ethan. Tapos ngayon, all these years, 30 years later, biglang...
Has it been 30 years?
Almost.
Since it started?
96 siya nagsimula. 27 years. Almost 30 years na.
Okay.
Almost 30 years. Grabe no? Almost 30 years na siya.
And I also learned a trivia.
Go.
Tom Cruise right now is older than John Voight in the first movie.
In the first movie. Pero hindi halata.
Oo.
Grabe.
Indiana Jones din.
Salamat, Doc.
Well, hindi na siya abot ng 80 playing Ethan Hunt. Kasi last na to.
Huwag mo sabihin sa kanya yan.
Never say never.
Ita-take niya ng challenge yan.
Oo nga eh.
Pero yun lang sa akin. Again, it felt very disappointing, the new characters. Kasi if you compare Gabriel to Solomon Lane, the fantastic villain of 5 and 6. Kasi kahit sabihin natin siya na doon lang siya in-introduce, may sense, may narrative logic na sinundan kung bakit siya nandoon.
Actually, just comparing him to John Lark.
Oh, yes. Of course.
Yun, one movie lang siya.
Diba?
One-off lang siya. Pero,
Henry Cavill.
Diba? And there is dimensions in that character.
Oo.
Tsaka yung twist is very satisfying.
Kahit nga, kita mo na siya sa simula pa lang Alam mo na trailer pa nga
pero
lang
it plays with you, diba?
Yun na nga na parang it makes you feel na sana hindi siya kalaban. Kasi Henry Cavill Sana hindi. Pero, nung ma-reveal na kalaban siya, parang, okay, sige, go. Yeah.
Yeah, all the clues were there.
Oo. And of course, who can forget the classic arms reloading moment?
Oh, diba?
Grabe yun.
Oo.
Sa sobrang gabi nung reloading arms niya, nawala yung bulsa niya sa polo niya. Na-point out ko na sa iyo natin, di ba?
Oo.
Na yung parang gumamit ata sila ng dalawang plate. As in, parang yung bago siya quote-unquote reload, bago siya mag-cock nung braso niya, na parang ganun. Meron siyang pocket sa polo shirt niya. Tapos pag ganun yun ng braso niya, biglang nawala. Dun sa next frame, as in nawala bigla yung long sleeves polo pocket sa harap. Ganun ka-powerful yung braso ni Henry Cavill na magigically disappear yung mga bulsa-bulsa niya.
Yeah, it has a life of its own.
Diba?
Grabe. Superman
Of course. Sorry for doubting you. Superman. Pero I don't want to rag on this movie too much. Kasi
we did not love it. We did not like it. Pero it just falls short, especially compared to Fallout.
Exactly. Kasi this sense of disappointment, sinet din siya nung series para sa atin Kasi kung pagkatapos ng Fallout na ipakita mong sobrang near perfect action movie, sabihin mo na, ito ang natin ito na ang passing grade natin. 99 na po ang passing grade natin dito. Tapos for the next one to dip in quality, it wasn't bad. It's not bad. It's a fantastic movie. We want you to still see it. Okay?
You just don't expect an average movie from Tom Cruise after Top Gun.
Oo. Ay, Diyos ko Mariosep.
After Fallout and Top Gun, this is parang medyo level down.
Slight level down. And ramdam mo din siya dun sa production Kasi kung gaano kapulido yung pagkakagawa ng mga action set pieces. Dito medyo, parang naramdaman kong medyo ang may kalat siya ng konti.
Ito ba yung movie na ginawa nila during the pandemic?
Yes, and I was gonna get to that. So, may out sila ng konti doon.
Okay.
Kasi when you remember yung motorcycle chase in Fallout sa Paris, sobrang linis, di ba? As in talagang seamless, walang problema. Epic moment after epic moment doon. Pero ito, yung car chase nila in Rome felt so clunky.
And also recycled.
Oo.
Kasi ang tagal ng, alam mo, nung nakita ko kahit dun sa trailer pa lang, sabi ko, this is John Wick Arc de Triomphe, yung doorless car, tapos chase. Parang I've seen this before. Also in a European city.
Although I don't think you can fault din naman kasi parang feeling ko naunang mag-shoot si Mission Impossible.
Okay, I guess. Pero yun na nga because this came out after John Wick.
Yun na nga, nag-suffer siya.
Oo. Kasi that is not a first time thing to see on screen.
And it's actually not even the first time na ginawa siya ng Mission Impossible. Yun nga, in France.
Oo. Diba? Medyo, recycled yung feel niya.
Medyo step down. Talaga. Sige, let's stop shitting on this movie. It may sound like we are, pero trust us, we're not.
We love it.
We love it. We love this franchise so much that we expect more of it. Kasi the franchise also told us to expect more from it. I don't know if you agree with me, pero the only character that felt three-dimensional for me was the assassin Paris, played by Pom Klementif.
Kasi, and she doesn't even have lines.
Wala pa siyang lines masyado. It only felt three-dimensional kasi siya yung merong arc dun sa sine. Parang wala silang arc lahat.
She feels like she belongs in a John Wick movie. Again, sorry for comparing it to John Wick. Pero Pom Klementif's character feels like she's from the Continental.
Yan.
Of the John Wick verse.
Tama.
She feels like an assassin. Henchman nga lang siya Henchwoman, sorry. Henchwoman siya ni Gabriel. Pero, remember yung character ni Ruby Rose? Dun sa John Wick
2. Yung mute na bodyguard ni ni Santino Di Antonio ba yan? Yan.
Yun siya.
Parang ganun. Exactly. Diba? It also just works kasi aside from her having the only arc in the film, siya lang yung may pinuntahan yung character na initially kalaban siya. Ethan spares her life. And then, she ends up saving Ethan in the end. So, siya yung merong narrative satisfaction yung takbo ng kwento. Pero the rest of them feel so incomplete. Again, it's part 1, itis. Sakit siya ng mga ganyang scene na part 1, part 2. Kaya ang hirap maging, siguro again, we look back a year from now and say na all of these concerns were unfounded. We were wrong.
We would love to be wrong.
Yun, we'd love nothing to be proven wrong in our disappointment, in our, yung how we feel na it feels incomplete. Ganon.
Well, to add to Paris' turn natawa lang ako kasi parang nung the moment of turn ni Paris, biglang parang sabi ni Gabriel na parang you're gonna betray me, you're gonna help Ethan Hunt. Parang ano yung entity auto-predict?
Yun na nga, sabi mo about biblical undertones. Sige, tell me more about that.
Ayun, biblical undertones, I noticed it right off the bat. Of course, cruciform, diba? Cruciform, and then the entity being parang this unknown being na dun pa lang sa exposition dump sa submarine, idinidescribe nila yung dead reckoning. Tapos, parang entity is being described as God. Tapos, and then we learn in the middle of the movie that Gabriel is like this messenger, like Angel Gabriel. And then, he has his disciples, so to speak. Isa doon si Paris. Tapos, yon yung religious undertone na parang you can't stop parang God because He controls everything.
And parang God predetermined everything na ganun.
Yon, parang predetermination. Kasi nga, it has already seen all the possible outcomes that might happen with every choice that every piece of the board makes. Sila Ethan Hunt, sila White Widow, everything. And Ethan Hunt's colleagues. It's like God knowing what will happen.
Yeah.
So they're powerless against it. Especially they're employing a lot of technological gadgets and technological help. Like yung mga GPS and yung mga face recognition.
Lahat yun pwedeng kontrolin ni entity.
Oo. Yung betrayal din ni Paris, parang dun sa moment na yon sinabi niya na parang Judas, kumbaga.
Well, sige, let's try to talk about the things that we loved about this. Meron naman. Hindi naman lahat disappointment.
Madami.
Dami naman. Ako pa rin, sobrang MVP pa rin nung sine, yung music.
Yes, of course.
The composer of the last film, Lorne Balfe, comes back to score this one as well. And as usual, yung percussive, propulsive score niya na puro bongos, talagang puro walang tigil yung walang tigil yung tunog ng bongos sa buong sine.
Oo.
Grabe.
Oo.
Ibang klase yung
Kaya nandun yung intensity talaga dun sa music.
Tapos, natutuwa din ako dun sa creative choices na ginawa ng bagong cinematographer nila. Fraser Taggart, he takes over Rob Hardy, the cinematographer from the last film. He tries to incorporate a mix of the old and the new. Na yung new being yung sleek look and the way that the camera captures the action from Mission Impossible 4 pa lang. Tapos meron siyang konting mga Mission Impossible 1 isms. Yung naka-Dutch angle yung camera na yung patagilid na ganon to signify na, something's off here. Yung mga ganon. Tapos may napansin din ako, hindi ko alam kung ikaw din nakita mo yun. Meron siyang parang may Sam Raimi na mga moves din. Yung parang biglang magsasnap.
Which part?
Yung dun sa simula, yung pinuntahan ni Ethan si Elsa dun sa desert.
Sa desert.
Yung nagsasnap zoom yung camera bigla, yung zhook, mga ganun bigla.
Oo nga, no? Parang siyang video game.
Parang Sam Raimi na yung tipong yung parang Evil Dead. Yung parang gaganon bigla yung camera dun sa kanya. Parang nakisa, okay to Medyo nag-experiment yung DP. Although, yun nga, na-disappoint lang ako ng konti kasi hindi niya tinuloy na ganon. Pero, nandun yan, I appreciate the willingness to experiment and not, look the same.
We wanna see new things always. Pagdating sa Mission Impossible, it's always groundbreaking.
True. That's true.
And by the way,
sorry, go ahead.
A Tom Cruise production.
Oo. Ang laki nung sa simula.
Diba?
All caps bold. A Tom Cruise film. If I'm not mistaken.
Production ba o film?
A Tom Cruise film.
Ooh.
Diba? So talagang kanyang-kanya to. At hindi man nang lumabas yung hindi nagkaroon ng signature na end credits sa dulo.
Oo nga.
Ang naging end credits lang niya, end part 1. Tapos diretso crawl agad. Wala yung parang yung stylized na ending na yung tutugtugin yung theme na song tapos yung papakita yung mga naging past na scenes ng movie. wala eh.
Mas may siguro siya, mas may weight siguro siya kung hindi siya happy ending. Kung hindi siya victorious ending. Parang, again,
Infinity War.
Oo. How Infinity War ended, yung silence na yon.
True.
Grabe yung impact nun.
Hindi siya yung parang triumphant na ending. Talagang rekta agad crawl din siya. Di ba pag snap man yun, pagkatapos nung nag-rest na si Thanos, tapos biglang cut to black.
Biglang piano.
Tapang, no?
Oo.
Yun yung talagang isa sa mga one of the greatest movie-going moments of the 21st century.
One of the greatest cliffhangers.
Ever.
Oo.
And siguro in closing na lang, we enjoyed it. And of course, we're gonna see it again at least one more time just so we see if how we feel stays the same. This is more siguro parang knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Just seeing the movie once. No? Hindi nga, don't get
Pero
me
nga,
wrong.
we have to be forgiving about it kasi nga, part 1 pa lang siya. This is just half of the entire story.
Yeah, I guess. And ako din, sige, for people who are listening, full disclosure, Angela knows this very well. I did not used to be this critical of anything at all. Ako si creature of hype. Talagang kahit sobrang glaringly bad na, kaya ko siyang i-forgive. Pero yun, over the years of talking about movies and anything else, TV shows, everything else with you, makaka-develop ka ng critical mind eh. I-separate mo yung fan self mo, yung easily hypeable, dun sa talagang nakaka-appreciate nung art.
Tsaka how it stands in the grand scheme of things, especially if this is part of a series of movies.
True.
And this is a 2-part movie.
Exactly.
Diba?
Exactly. So, it's still a recommendation. Still a very, very enthusiastic recommendation. Pero,
let's hold our final thoughts when the final movie arrives.
And siguro, temper your expectations na din because of the part 1 thing. Yun yung advice namin siguro to you listeners na if you're still here, na you're listening to the spoiler part in spite of not seeing it yet, there will be some clunky parts because of it being part 1 of 2.
Of course, we would love to know what you think about it.
Of course, yes. And again, just before we end this episode of the Cinegeeks podcast, we did say kanina na meron tayong contest na i-hold for our Cinegeeks, our fellow Cinegeeks.
And also as a thank you to our listeners from over 30 cities from all over the world.
That's true.
We just reached a milestone.
Yes, thank you very much for everyone who has listened to us. So what we're gonna be doing is we will be giving away a limited edition Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 poster, care of Ayala Mall Cinemas. So thank you, Ayala Mall Cinemas.
Thank you, Ayala Malls,
for the excellent giveaway that we will be giving to one lucky Cinegeek. So, just a contest restriction lang. This is only open to our listeners in the Philippines.
Yes.
Okay. So, we appreciate our worldwide audience, pero for this contest, para lang sa mga nasa Philippines. No?
Yes.
Okay. So, once, ito yung magiging contest mechanics niya. Once this episode goes up on Friday, all right, we will also post about this episode on our Facebook page. Now, in order for you to win, you'll have to do the following. Like and share the post. Make sure it's public. Okay? And tag 5 of your fellow Cinegeek friends on the post. And include what you thought of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 in your post, if you've seen it.
Yes.
Okay. So, after you've shared the post and included your thoughts about Mission Impossible, we will be randomly drawing the winner next week, July 19. And we will be announcing the winner on the July 21st episode of Cinegeeks. Okay? So, if you still haven't done so, please like and follow our Facebook page. And also follow us on Threads and Instagram so you can continue to join in on the Cinegeeks conversation. So, the best of luck to everyone. And is there anything else you want to add, Jel, before we wrap up this episode?
Watch out for our Barbenheimer double feature episode next week.
Super-sized double feature episode.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yes, good luck sa atin sa pag-edit nun.
Sa akin.
Yes, exactly. Good luck. So, that's it, I guess. That's it for this Cinegeeks episode of the podcast talking about Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. We hope hope that wherever you are, you have a great rest of your day. And so for my co-host Angela, again, this is Roy. Thank you once again for listening to the Cinegeeks podcast, where movies, TV, and all things geek collide.